Do you feel drained by your work environment? Are you reluctant to go to your work because of your boss and the culture? A narcissistic boss can have a large negative effect on the culture and the employees at your job. I will go into the possible effects they can have and, more importantly, how to deal with it. In my last video I spoke about possible signs your boss could be a narcissist. This is the sequel to that video. Now, the signs of a narcissistic boss make it clear that they can create quite a toxic environment. Their influence can be very strong. It's necessary to learn to recognize what's going on in order to better deal with it. I hope this video can be helpful to you. Now, here are a few general effects a narcissistic boss could have on the culture of a workplace or team. The first is people having negative or disturbed energy. Some might be scared and work harder than they possibly can. Some seem depressed and anxious. Some are fully disengaged, and only a few might be able to actually be themselves. There will be many struggling employees due to insecurities and lack of appreciation. The employees are not motivated at all, or motivated for the wrong reasons, such as fear. The second effect is that the narcissist could be like the popular kid in school. Some are trying to please the boss to lift on their greatness, some take a distance, and some feel the negative impact because they are bullied. There could be a toned down culture of scared employees with a very dominant boss. Another effect could be a disengaged culture with very independent employees, without any glue or connection between anyone. When employees do support or connect with each other, it mostly results in groups being silently against the boss. There will then be a lot of blaming and negativity going on. Lastly, there could be a narcissistic culture with a lot of comparing, gossip, fighting for promotions, praising the boss, and so forth. It can create a very competitive work environment with a lot of manipulation and games being played. Now, this shows that a narcissist can just have quite some impact on the workplace, and obviously it also has an effect on you. The effect of a narcissistic boss on you is related to your own expectations and needs. It could be that you thought this person would be a good boss and someone you possibly could learn a lot from. You could have seen them as an example in confidence, competence, and motivation or drive. Most people want to be trusted, supported, and work in a safe environment in which it's okay to make mistakes and learn. It obviously doesn't motivate if your boss will blame or shame you when you make a mistake. This will possibly lead to you being motivated to avoid this and work harder in an unhealthy way. It's a stressful situation and there's a risk to get burned out. It could also lead to not being motivated at all, because you only seem to be able to fill in their eyes. So let's go into what to do. It's important to analyze what's going on and write things down. Write down how it all affects you. What are you missing from your boss? Do you want more appreciation? Do you want a feeling of helping people? Do you merely want to earn money and disengage? What do you expect from a job in general? Why do you work and what matters to you? For example, you might work to simply earn money, get through the day, and you have no need for social interaction at your work. This would probably mean a narcissistic boss has less effect on you, as you will work, go home, be paid, and have a certain distance to your work. On the other hand, you might want a fulfilling job in a nice, comfortable and safe environment with possibly a deeper connection with co-workers and your boss. If you feel like this, there's a large possibility the work environment won't feel safe. You will feel a lot of disturbed energy from people, as it affects everyone. These examples show why it's important to realize and recognize what's your view on work and what are your possibilities. Knowing your expectations, needs, and possibilities will tell you how to deal with the situation and what's the best solution. The solution thus differs and should be matched to you. A narcissistic boss will have certain effects and you can't really change the effects. You don't control the behavior of others, only your own behavior. So you need to change your behavior to make it work for you, change your expectations, or seek another job if it's too draining and you have this possibility. So how to deal with a narcissistic boss? There are a few options, and it does depend on what you want from your work and how you want yourself to act. One obvious and probably best option is trying to find a new job and environment. If you can't switch jobs or don't want to, due to other reasons you think are important, you have to find a way to make it work for you. It's important to adjust your expectations with the knowledge of your boss being a narcissist. Don't expect a narcissistic boss to be empathic or understanding in a sincere way. Try not to work yourself into a burnout trying to please this person. Don't expect a narcissist to respect your boundaries, and certainly don't expect them to guess your boundaries. You could use the grey rock method, keeping as much distance as possible and disengage from them, or you could play the manipulative game with them to a certain extent. You could also use a combination of these, such as temporarily playing the game and in the meanwhile search for another job. I will first go into using a form of the grey rock method. It's a method of essentially becoming like a grey rock when around the narcissist. It means you try to be as boring and unappealing as a grey rock and not respond emotionally to anything. I wrote an in-depth article about this method, which you might read if interested. The most important part when dealing with a narcissistic boss is disengaging and not responding emotionally. When you know someone is a narcissist, you can see their behavior in the perspective of having this knowledge. You know who is the messenger, and you basically don't have to take their manipulation or unreasonable behavior seriously on an emotional level. You might seek some appreciation from your boss, but you won't get it. Realize essentially you know best whether you did good work, so you better work for your own appreciation and be proud of overcoming challenges. To do grey rock in the workplace, you become serious and focused on exchanging practical information. You don't let yourself be provoked, but you stay cool and disengaged. Don't show them that they are getting under your skin, and don't take responsibility for their behavior. You essentially stay out of arguments or emotional engagement and keep a focus on what you need to do for your work. If you don't need to interact with your boss, then stay out of it. The second possibility is playing the game a bit and thereby creating a better work environment for yourself. This is where you bend yourself a bit with the knowledge of what's important to your boss. You can use your understanding of your boss and their needs to create a better or comfortable environment for yourself. Personally, I don't really like this option too much because it's also manipulation and playing the game. It's good to be aware of this. However, I understand playing the game can be a necessary evil and can be useful or needed. I do want to emphasize to take into consideration whether your actions possibly negatively affect other co-workers. It can also negatively impact yourself if you start pleasing or manipulating too much. So beware and be conscious of what you're doing. The tips naturally follow from how narcissists work and the knowledge of what's important to them. It's essentially giving them what they care for. It would be to praise them, be their audience, make them look good and validate their ego. You might allow them to take credit and be useful in their eyes. Agree with them and their view that it's about them. You accept responsibility, own your mistakes, and tell them they are right and you will try to improve. You could even thank them for their great coaching or feedback. Don't complain or gossip to coworkers who might be flying monkeys. Actually, don't gossip at all because it's just negative energy. Don't blame or criticize your boss. Don't be a threat or competition. Ask questions and find out what's important to them and then focus on doing those things. Remember details of their personal life and your conversations. An example of how I use my knowledge once is that in my performance evaluation conversation, I asked my narcissistic boss a lot of questions, gave compliments, and let him speak, and he talked almost a whole hour. He thought the conversation went great and was very positive about my performance at work. It made no sense. He had no idea how I really did, and in a way he didn't care. He just didn't like negativity, nagging, or someone having trouble. If I did great, he did great as a boss. I would prefer to be able to talk about how I really did in my work and have honest and useful feedback. I knew, however, that sincere feedback wasn't possible, so my aim was to keep the relationship fine, make sure he thought I had his back, and I let him know that I didn't like to be managed on details. He thought it went well, and I created space and autonomy to do my work so I could help others in the best way possible. I don't work for him anymore though, which brings me to the next option of looking for another job. On the long term, it will certainly be more healthy to have a job without the influence of a narcissistic boss, and thus it might be smart to start looking for another job. You can learn how to deal with it better by using the grey rock method or playing the manipulative game, but it still requires energy and will affect you. So the best thing would be not needing all this advice on playing games and how not to be yourself. In general, you want to focus on yourself and learn to set boundaries. It's healthy and a form of self-love to set boundaries and stick with them. You don't have to accept abusive or disrespectful behavior. You have this control even if it doesn't feel like you do. Stay focused on what you want and your own goals. If you stay at your job, know why you are staying and write down what you're learning and why it's helpful. What are benefits of you dealing with this narcissistic boss? This can help motivate you and keep you strong. A positive list with the benefits of your job can help you at those moments you are struggling with the negative influence of your boss. You can stand behind the conscious choice you made to stay, even though it might not be easy. It is also wise to counterbalance the chaos and drama created by a narcissistic boss. So you could, for example, try to go walk outside to do some mindful breathing or just enjoying a walk during your workday. Now, I hope understanding the situation better will help to cope with narcissistic behavior. I hope thinking about what you want in a work environment and learning about different options you have in dealing with this will be helpful to you. Knowledge will help you trust yourself and not believe their blaming and negative influence. It will help you with your doubts or insecurities they are possibly emphasizing with their behavior. In general, being around a narcissist will be draining and stressful, and you can't really be yourself. You are probably focused on self-survival and staying strong. Therefore, it's important to counterbalance this and to take care of yourself. Try to be kind and loving to yourself and give yourself credits for the work you're doing. I hope this video gives you some insights into the situation, helps your decision making and provides some tools to work on protecting your energy. If you like, you can share your experience and possibly tips in the comments below. Thank you for listening, and I wish you strength and kindness.